look like them. So just to turn it on is to hold the button down. I always tell people, I know we all know that this is a flow meter, but we don't go by a flow meter. This is just to turn the oxygen on and off. This has nothing, no readings. It means nothing except turning it on and off. The flow does not equate to the oxygen percentage that you're using. So right now, it looks like it's in pediatric mode. You can see a little butterfly and little green something duck. Takes a while. The pediatric, an adult can go up to 60 liters. A child, I think 25, 35. It doesn't go up to 60 liters. The liters is the flow. So more if they're like struggling to breathe, if they need a large flow. The oxygen, of course, is their saturation if they're low on oxygen. So it's at 29 right now, temperature Celsius, 15 liters and 21%. So we're not hooked up to oxygen, but this is how you would adjust the oxygen. So you're just moving the flow meter and watching the oxygen increase or decrease. So it's not gonna increase because we're not hooked up, but so you just would watch that increase and stop where you wanna. It kind of takes a while for it to be accurate, so you don't want to just crank it up right away. You're going to go up to 100%. Unless you really need 100% right away. To change the liter flow, you hold down both buttons at the same time. It's about 5 seconds. Oops, I'm sorry. You got to toggle over first. There's the temperature. If you want to change the temperature, you hold down the up and down arrows. There's the liter flow, so to hold that down, it's flashing, so now I can increase it or decrease it by the up and down arrows. Let's see how high it goes. At 25.
What's the normal temp that you guys started at?
It automatically starts it. I don't know about adults. It's preset.
Okay.
And sometimes they complain about the heat, so you can turn it down, but only it goes down by like 4 degrees. It's not a whole lot, and it's preset. It won't let you go any lower than it lets, or any higher. So a child can only go as high as 25 liters. I can toggle over, and I can also set the oxygen this way, but I can also set it when it's not in this screen.
So you can set it by that?
Yes. Well,
It's just not accurate with that. You can do this, but it will.
No, this is the only way you can do it. This is just reading it.
I think it's confusing because you said flow.
I thought
So-
you said you can't.
So that doesn't determine flow, it determines the oxygen.
Yes, this determines the oxygen only. But it's not, you don't say 3 liters. You look at what's in the window for the percentage of oxygen.
So to get that straight, you use that to increase the flow, but you're not looking at the,
Oxygen.
yeah.
That's where it gets confusing.
Mhm.
Because
Yeah.
you're thinking liter flow, oxygen, liter flow.
Yeah, your flow is set by this only, your flow. Your oxygen is set by this only. You're reading the percentage in the window. We have a leak, of course we have a leak. So it wants me to fix the leak before we go on.
Is it because it's not
It's not
actually
attached to someone.
into the patient's
Could be.
nose?
So I can't go on. See, it's telling me in the window all the things to check. It's telling me to check to make sure this is on, because when you put it on, it has to click. And it's telling me to check the cannula.
I can send another candle if somebody wants to put it on.
We've done this though, I thought, at Chesterton,
I
and
thought
it
so,
didn't
too.
say anything about leak.
I'll put it on. That'll help. Thank you for being
What if we just do this? There. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you for donating your ears.
So no, check for blockages, now it's blocked. So when you put a cannula on a person, say you put a large on someone with smaller nares, you will get possibly a blocked because they're too big. Or if they get bent, if they are the right size and they get bent, you will see a blockage. So it's more the patient end of the little prongs are blocked.
Do you want me to try to
I
put it
may
on,
need
see if
you
that
to.
helps?
Yeah, because it's telling me I'm either blocked or there's a leak.
Do you guys have, or you could do the test one here? Did I send one? I thought I sent one. We could try that.
How about we use one and not use very often? We don't very often use smalls. Sometimes if you need a large flow, let's say you have a little old lady and she's really struggling and you put her on the highest of everything on a small cannula, you'll probably get a blockage because a small cannula can't handle that much flow. So you may have to give her a bigger cannula. Your mediums and your larges are what your most common sizes are, mostly because the small won't handle that large of a flow if that's what they need. And of course, water is very important because this is very burning. This high flow and this much oxygen is very hard on people's noses.
Where's the bubbler go?
It is gonna be like an IV bag. That you swipe. That's weird, somehow we got. So you'd spike that in the IV bag and then, so it drips. So right now we have 25 flow. Check for leaks, what the?
I got it connected.
Right now it says 21% because we don't have oxygen and we're at 20 liters. It's going up. If you increase the oxygen, you're gonna see the liter flow go down. It's a balance. Once you get the settings you want, they'll stay there. But like I said, if you start moving with the oxygen and increasing it, your flow will go down. you
So
may have-
50% goes to ICU with like a BiPAP or, so is there a similar thing with this? Like if they're on 50%
Not really.
oxygen, it goes,
It kind of just depends on how comfortable the nurse feels with it. Sometimes they.
no, I'm
freak out.
talking about like placement.
Right, sometimes it doesn't matter, sometimes,
Go ahead.
I don't think there's any policy.
I thought they had rules on the,
Sometimes it depends on who the nurse is.
okay.
Because some of them I don't think understand
Well,
what it means.
Yeah, like, so I was talking like, if you're on BiPAP, 50% has to go to ICU.
Right.
So
Versus
that's what
step
I'm
down or
asking,
something.
versus step down.
Right,
so
well,
that's
so
what
for
I'm
instance, last
asking.
week I had a patient on the 5th floor who had a low sat she was on 15 liters of oxygen, and so I set her up on this, and the actual, rapid response nurse was in there too, and she said, well, we don't really have a policy, but she was over 60 liters, usually a 60 liters sends them to the 3rd floor,
Mhm.
and this person was on like 80 liters, or, yeah, 80
What was their
liters.
oxygen?
And then she was only on it for like 3 hours, it was a Lasix issue. She-
Does this take a lot of oxygen? Like, since we only have tanks
Yeah,
here?
if that's
I
the
don't
case,
know.
then
Yeah,
somebody
so-
needs to do something about that because we'll be running out like that.
Yeah, I'm sure, the higher obviously the higher the FiO2 you need, it
Right,
will.
right.
I'm sure, yeah, cause it's gonna be still 50 PSI out of the wall, And then as you dial the O2 up, it's gonna,
Okay.
yes, it will. Like your BiPAP in your vent.
Mm-hmm.
This is not portable. It does need to be plugged in at all times.
And I'll share an app. She showed me an app where you can actually
Play with the button.
play with the buttons.
Oh, cool.
And there's no, when you spike the bag, it just does its own thing. You're not doing anything, you don't have
It
to,
just leaks in there when
okay.
it fills it up itself.
So if you have to take a patient to like CAT scan, and you've initiated that in the room and you gotta take them to CAT scan, how do you,
You usually put them on
Let me
an
Non-rebreather.
all right?
And then just make sure your.
If it's
bag
closed,
is
I don't know, we've never-
ventilation, so
Just cross your fingers.
Go fast.
You guys will wanna keep them separate so they don't accidentally get mixed up with.
Our bags here?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So this
Yeah,
is set
'cause
on
they look exactly
pediatrics.
like.
So they're not just regular, typical, normal saline, they're different bags, okay.
Does that have to be hung, or how, what do you do with the bag?
Yeah, it just hangs.
Yeah,
up
we
the
hang
top.
it up
Oh, all
somewhere,
right.
up here or something. So this is pediatrics. To switch it to, adult, this toggle is what we go back and forth for the temperature, the liter flow, and to actually see the oxygen. So to switch it to the adult, you hold this toggle switch down. It's in junior mode, I'm gonna toggle back to adult.
I was gonna say, did she just pick it up so high on you?
Oh, I did.
Is it burning your nose?
No, it's okay. I'm pulling it down just a little
Blowing our
bit.
brains
Cause they
out.
say that, it's very painful once,
It-
once
it
there's
kind
no
of is.
water in there. So we're
Right.
going up to
They're not going
30.
home.
Right now, we have about a 36, 35 flow.
Do the doctors know, to let us know kind of what the flow they want, or is it just
It's
us?
just us.
Okay.
It's not like a BiPAP flow, it's not like,
It's just giving us a lot of oxygen at one time.
yeah, and how hard they're working to breathe. The harder they're working, the higher flow you wanna give them.
Right.
If they're really struggling, start them off at the highest of all, 100% and 60 liters. And then go down from there once they're,
Maybe the docs need to be educated on it.
yeah, cause it seems like
I'm not a
everybody wants
respiratory
BiPAP,
therapist.
BiPAP, but sometimes you don't need the BiPAP, they just need a little bit more oxygen. And this is kinda more comfortable, cause they can eat and talk and wear glasses.
Mostly.
So it's beeping at me cause it says I don't have water,
Transfer.
my water's empty.
But maybe they do need to be educated.
Especially
Then.
ER docs.
The docs need to be educated.
Well, I'll have to let the director know that. That's not, that's above my pay grade,
Yeah.
but I will let them know.
Just so we're all on the same page.
Yeah.
with it. Especially being here.
Yeah.
Any questions?
You can go through stuff.